Welcome to Us Watching Us. This is a episode of series of episodes of television that we're making on the internet here, and we are live streaming this, and you might be watching this on YouTube later. But we will be watching videos of our trip around the world that took place in 2009, 2010, and we're watching them in order. And at this point, we would have left at the beginning of September, and we're entering the August time period of 2010. So we're coming up on a full year of traveling. So this would have been, we are beginning the portion of this trip where we landed in India. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a map, and I figured it's been a while. We will have
do the whole thing.
A look at the whole thing of where we have traveled. And okay, good. That's working. Now this computer happens here, and then that goes there, and then I can go and get Safari.
That Fritz is Johnny Fritz.
I hope so.
The answer is yes, Fritz. The answer is yes. Among other situations.
Okay. So we are, I'm going to go through it really fast. We are from Virginia, sort of, mostly. You're from Virginia. I'm sort of from Virginia. And what's up?
I feel nostalgic for that state.
Do you?
Look at the shape of the shape.
You like the shape of the state?
Yeah, I like the shape. I love the... oh, man.
And we started our trip in, like I said, September 2009. And we really didn't have a big plan. Our big plan was to sell all the things that we owned and then go to Thailand, and then from there to see what happened. And that's sort of what ended up happening. Oh, we went to Costa Rica first. So we started down in Costa Rica. My parents were living there at the time. We were there for a few weeks, or a couple weeks, I guess. And then we bounced up through New York and Alaska, and we didn't stop in those places. We just bounced through them, pressed a pizza button, bounced through Taiwan, and landed in Thailand. And we spent 3 months in Thailand going around Bangkok. We went up north, up into this area, and came back down and went down the peninsula, crossed down into Malaysia, spent a few weeks in Malaysia, went to some rainforests and stuff, made our way down to Singapore, got engaged, and then went down into Indonesia. And we went along over here in Jakarta, came over here, went and saw some volcano stuffs, and then flew over to these beautiful little island called this island. Where it's this one, right? Yeah, Rutang and stuff. Yeah. What's the name of the island? Shit, I can't remember. Flores. And we saw some dragons on Komodo Island. Came out of there.
You know when we went to see Mount Merapi?
Yeah.
Where was that?
That's in over here, in like outside of Yogyakarta, right?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I'm pretty sure.
Me back.
I'm pretty sure that it's like Central Java.
Okay.
And then after all the Indonesia stuff, we flew back up Thailand, did Bangkok again, and took a train into Laos, spent a month doing Laos, came back down out of Laos, went through Cambodia, did a bunch of stuff, went back to Bangkok, flew to Hong Kong, did a bunch of stuff in Hong Kong, got a driver's license, went to Macau, ate a sandwich, and then took a train and worked our way up to Hangzhou. Saw some pretty lakes, went to Shanghai, went to Beijing, saw some rude folks, went to the Great Wall, it was rad. Then we flew to Seoul, and we ended up spending 5 weeks in Korea. We basically went everywhere.
Got the drunkest I've ever been.
Yeah, you got really drunk. We went to Jeju as well while we were there. We went into Seoul 3 times as we bounced anything out.
Those were separate events.
We did the DMZ at one point. That was rad. And then we flew to Japan for the very first time, which is notable because we live here now. Spent some time in Sendai with some people we met from the internet, but it was good. And we are now friends with them. We've been friends with them since then. That was like 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
I wonder when we'll hang out again.
And then we went up to Hokkaido, did some stuff in Hokkaido, took a ferry back down to Sendai, worked our way down to Tokyo, stayed just blocks away where we ended up living for years as well, which was kind of just a random, interesting little tidbit. And then worked our way down through down through this area of Japan, but we just hit the major tourist things at that point. But we were there for 5 weeks total: Osaka, Kyoto, Nara, Himeji. We went to Hiroshima, and that was on last week's episode. And then we took a train back up to Tokyo and got on an airplane, and that's where we're going to be picking up now. And I believe this starts, I don't remember exactly, but we transferred through Singapore, I think. I think we flew from Tokyo to Singapore, and then Singapore to New Delhi. I don't have any recollection of this, but I saw pictures. All right.
Okay.
So now that we've gone through all of that and we're all up to speed, let's get into the first video from India. And if you've seen this series of videos, then you already know kind of what goes down in India. But if you haven't, strap in.
This should all be prefaced with that we thought we were ready.
Yeah. We rolled into India thinking we were badasses. We were like travel badasses because we'd done all the stuff we just said. We were like, yeah, we got a handle on how this works.
Yeah, we were confident, we were ready. We knew that India was going to be crazy and that it might be physically challenging, not only just in that you have to get over bacteria, but that you also have to get used to a different level of comfort, weather-wise, sleeping-wise, hotel-wise. It's a different world. We expected a different world. We were not ready.
Yeah.
Even now when I'm just like, well, you just got to like forget all the things you ever thought about the world because it's a different planet over there.
It's a lot.
Now I would be like, whoa, we probably won't make it.
It's a lot different than because most of our travel have been in East Asia. It's a lot different than the rest of East Asia, like or the rest of than East Asia. Like it's a completely different game. And I remember when we got there, I think we'll probably go in. I don't want to go into it. We'll go into it if we don't see it in the video. Just what the arrival experience was like and everything.
Oh, okay.
I assume we talk about it, but we've never seen these videos since we've edited them back in the day. So, and you've never seen them.
Dun, 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 dun.
Did you guys have a beep, by the way? You guys got audio?
It's pretty loud.
Just make sure you guys have audio before.
Can we get a beat back?
Okay, for this. Okay, cool. You hear it? Okay, great. Instead of our trip, we were going to be traveling from Japan to India. We were in Kyoto, and that was kind of the last time we had any like real activity in Japan. And we took a train from Kyoto up to Tokyo, and we stayed in a hotel that was near the airport, which is actually quite a ways outside of the main part of the city.
Oh, really?
In the morning, we hopped on the plane, and we had a connection from Tokyo to Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur. I was wrong. Took a flight from there after a couple hours of a layover to
what map is this?
Delhi. And we arrived at Delhi at night, and as you'll see in the videos, it was just completely insane. But before we left Japan, we had booked a hotel in Delhi because we knew we were going to be getting there very late, and we knew that the transfer from the hotel into the city was going to be complicated. So we booked
Here's some background.
Oh, keep going.
Just let it until you're finished.
Told us that they would have somebody at the airport, like, with a card, our name on a card, waiting for us, and then they would pick us up and take us to the hotel. So, yeah, you'll see how that all didn't work out in the videos, and that kind of sets the scene for all of India being completely insane. So I'm making these videos now, and I'm all the way back in the States, and looking back at them, it's just like, whoa, I cannot believe we were in that mess. So enjoy watching this country.
Whoa. Okay, number one, I want to explain a tidbit, and number two, I want to slow motion go back and figure out what room you were in.
I was at Will's house.
Oh man, but you didn't let me slow motion sleuth that out. You just told me it was no fun.
Hi, Tony. Hello.
I feel like I might see a teddy bear in there or something like that.
Oh, do you want me to back up? I can back up.
Why would I say it?
It's possible. Now that you know, maybe you don't care.
So the hotel situation was my fault. I put the wrong day down. I don't know if it was the day before or the day after, but it was not the day that we arrived. And I don't know why that happened, like whether it was because our arrival from the plane, like maybe it was over a night or something like that.
It wasn't, because we arrived in India at nighttime.
But I remembered after being incredibly frustrated about how things went out and being pissed off, then I somehow decided to just go back and check, like, was it done correctly? And it wasn't. It was my fault.
You weren't mean to anybody or anything, thankfully, that I don't remember you being upset. I mean, it's not, you wouldn't have really been like that anyways. But it just created this clusterfuck.
Yeah.
And it's just like had to have been in the one of the places where the clusterfuck, it would expand out into more of a clusterfuck. Yeah.
So we normally ask for the emergency exit row because Eric is so tall, and we ended up getting a lot more than we expected. Like, Eric keeps going, we've had apartments smaller than this where we've stayed, and literally this might be bigger than our Hong Kong place that we stayed in. Like, look at all this leg room. Goes on for feet after he's done sitting. Also, we have little televisions that pull out from up to there. Like, they're underneath our seats and stuff, and just, it's just lush. Like, we're in economy class, but this is definitely first class seating.
So I'm in the airport in Kuala Lumpur, and they have like a bird sanctuary thing. I haven't seen anything alive, but I can hear them. But that's not a normal amenity for a airport, and that just jumped right across my face.
Did he have a ticket?
Holy crap, that thing is really, really big. It's 6 inches long. Anyway, so that grasshopper was really big, and it scared the crap out of me because it like basically bounced like off my face. Whoa. And now, like I said, this is like dead in the center of an airport. And it's cool because it's something to do because we've got a bit of a layover.
We finished our first flight that took us from Japan to Malaysia, and it was incredible. Like, constantly being asked if everything was cool, like, can we get you another beverage? They would walk up and just...
We had ice cream.
They gave us ice cream. I mean, that blew our minds as we ate our...
I wonder what airline it was.
It was comfortable, and it was outstanding. The best flight I've been on in my entire life. So we're on the second one, and granted that the plane quality is a little less. We don't have our own little televisions to watch and stuff like that. It's a shorter flight and whatnot. They did just serve us whiskey. That's a lot of whiskey. God damn. Identification. He said whiskey, and I was like, are you serious?
Malaysia Airlines.
And it's absolutely free. So, I'm gonna get a little tipsy.
Congrats on the tax rebate.
I have 2.
So this is a hell of a meal they've given us. This is a chicken dish with some
Wow.
curry, and it smells so good. This is like a mini naan, I guess. It's like a little doughy
We were super pumped about Indian food. Like, we were super pumped about
You just
it.
called that bun a naan.
thing. This salad smells really good, like really strong of cucumbers.
That's a naan.
One of our current favorite things ever is a real yogurt, and hopefully this is going to be like Indian style yogurt. And then we've got these little chip things. I have no idea what this is.
I don't.
And this is a lime pickle. Don't know. And this is just like a bread, like a spread for bread, like a margarine or a butter.
I still have good leg room.
An aftermint, right? But it feels like mint, like literally mint. Not
It's
as in a mint, but as in a plant. And then we've got these candies.
Did they come with the meal?
no.
They couldn't have.
No, we had to have smuggled those in.
There's always a bit of concern when a country says
They're giving away free whiskey, but they wouldn't give away free candies. That's what we call those things whenever we see the little golden balls.
They're snobby,
Golden
like-
balls. Whenever we
What
see
are the
the
condiments?
little golden ball Ferrero, whatever's. Ferrero. We just call them the candies.
There's always a bit of concern when a country says that they want to have onward ticket proof and then we just neglect to get it, that we'll get in, or if there'll be a complication. But here we are, we're in India, we don't have onward ticket proof. He didn't ask. He said, is this your first time in India? And I said, yeah. And he said, all right, stamp, 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 stamp.
Good luck.
The airport looked pretty nice there. That's not what the rest of it looked like.
Okay, so here we are. We're in India, and we were supposed to get picked up by our hotel, but it didn't happen because it's really, really, really confusing in the airport. We think our guy just didn't show up. Like he's supposed to be standing there with like with our name on a board, and it just didn't happen. And then all these guys were like, "Oh no, we can take you," and we were like, "No," and we took this. I don't know, we wandered around for a long time, and we couldn't get any money because all the ATMs were broken, and then some guy exchanged some money for me. Like, I gave him $12, and he gave me exact change, like, exactly the amount he was supposed to give me back in rupees, so that was nice of him. And then we made some phone calls on a cell phone that we had to pay some guy to use because there's no telephones in the airport, and there's no official, like, employees except for security guards who don't want to be helpful in the least. In fact, they go out of their way to be unhelpful. And then there's this booth, and you can go get a prepaid taxi, and we got a prepaid taxi.
This shit's happening right now.
I know, it's happening in India right now. Yeah, I know, it's still happening. Yeah. It's so okay. We flew from Japan to this. It's just like the exact opposite scenarios. It's crazy.
And we're riding in it, and we think it's taking us to an airport, or to our hotel, but, you know, I mean, who knows? But so far, the last 20 minutes in India, or I guess it's been shit. It's been like two hours, I guess, that we've been here in India now. It's been 10 times more intense than the previous 3 months in Korea and Japan. So, yeah, this should be a fun adventure.
We didn't get into it too deeply about the actual what went on in the airport.
So I'm going to just talk in Tokyo time because that's what our bodies are adjusted to, and otherwise it gets really complicated with all the time shifts and stuff that we did. So
you're looking great.
Because we took a train from Kyoto to Tokyo, and it's a long way on a slow train because we couldn't afford to take a bullet train.
Yeah, we took local trains from Kyoto back up to Tokyo and then stayed somewhere near Narita. I don't remember this at all.
So we got there about midnight and got to bed around 12:30. This morning we woke up at 5 a.m. so that we could get on the plane to fly to Kuala Lumpur and then connect and fly to India. And this is a lot of flying, like it's a long distance. So we've been in the air for a really long time. Right now, Tokyo time, it's about 4 a.m. So we've been awake for 23 hours. And the last 5 hours or so that we've been in India have been crazy, like just like complete madness. And I think that's kind of going to set the pace for the rest of the time we're in the country. So we'll see if we hate it here by the end of the time that we leave. But so far it's been kind of exciting. And we're waiting for our room service to come. And I think it's just about midnight here. Let me see. It is 12:30 here. So we're waiting for our room service to come. We just ordered a bunch of random Indian food, and it came to like $5 or something, like for 2 meals. And we're back to cheap too, because this giant thing of bought water in a hotel room. In a hotel room, not even in a convenience store, 30 cents. So we're happy about that. But it was hard to get from the airport to this hotel, and everything is madness. So I'm sure these videos are going to be pretty awesome. Okay, so our room service showed up.
Good God damn.
I know. They brought it to us after midnight too. That's wild.
Every day I just want to eat Indian food.
I know.
And I try to convince you of this, and sometimes you're just like, nah.
How did we keep the footage? We had like the memory cards of course we filmed onto, and I backed it up onto a external hard drive every day. And at one point I mailed a hard drive home to Will, I think, and then bought another one. But I don't remember what size they were or anything.
And this is what it is, and you have no idea how heavenly this looks to me. This looks so good. I love Indian food. And this is room service in a hotel. And after we tipped him, it was $5.37. So
we did some tipping.
I think we're back to living at large. Mm-hmm. No more noodles for me. No more 7-Eleven noodles.
That's not true. You just ate Lawson noodles yesterday.
I did.
We're in India at the moment, and it is really, really, really quiet in this room, which is absolutely fascinating. And there is air conditioning technically, but it's not working right now. It worked last night though. But we've got this fan up here. And
So India.
It sounds like there's a helicopter in the room. It's really actually kind of scary. So we're rolling with about half power. And then we go over into the bathroom. We actually have a private bathroom, which is nice. And it's raining in the bathroom, and we're not sure why. It's really wet. And it's because these pipes are condescending. And condescending? That's not the right word. Condensing? What's the word?
Pause this shit. So you were like this then?
Yeah, I told you 10 minutes ago. I was like, have I changed since we started dating? And you're like, no.
No, I don't think so. Condensating.
They're talking bad about me.
I can't remember. These pipes are very condescending. They called me a dick. And then I have not looked outside yet, so let's see how
This is outside where we were staying was wild.
India.
Looks about right.
So soon we'll go outside and we will explore.
All right, my first impression of India. The first thing that is a really big shocker is the number of flies. And we're in an area that's pretty open right now, so there's not a million of them, but there are tons of flies everywhere, and you almost don't breathe for like a full 20-30 seconds just because you don't want them getting into your system or whatever. Also, since we've just come from Japan, that didn't happen in Japan. Since we also just came from Japan, people didn't stare at you there. Here, I'm getting stared at a lot, like just lingering stares, and yeah. So those two things, the flies and the staring,
And the ponies.
And the ponies are pretty big differences and pretty big India things.
Our hotel room was down there. It was down that hall, that street on the left-hand side. That's where we were fucking staying. It looks like a bomb went off.
Been sitting up here for 10 minutes. I've been watching the traffic.
Look at the red car going backwards.
And I still am not really 100% certain what side of the road they drive on in India, because all sides, everywhere, go. It's a nice view, though.
Yeah, I know we're going to probably sound like we're being judgmental. It's just how it is. It's more of just like, it was shocking. Like, to be completely honest.
These aren't judgments, they're shocks.
Yeah, it was just like whoa.
So far, Delhi has been another one of those places that looks like it's under perpetual construction. Everything just looks like this. And then I'm going to show you what I'm standing over. It's like a
Fuck,
into
son.
the depths of hell. Okay, so we're at McDonald's, and the food here is dang cheap, especially compared to other Asian countries. And everything is chicken-based because obviously they don't eat cattle here, so there's no beef burgers or anything like that. So, a chicken McGrill. This is a Big Mac with chicken, and this is a McChicken sandwich, and this is a
Veggie surprise.
veggie surprise.
That's a shit ton of food.
Yeah, for us.
And it all tastes completely different than what it would taste like in the States or anything. So this tastes nothing like McDonald's. But the fries are traditional. These are your traditional McDonald's fry. Okay, so this is a chicken McGrill. And this is like a pesto sauce. And the chicken itself tastes kind of like tandoori chicken. And it's spiced like Indian food is spiced. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you might be like, oh, you're pussing out by eating at McDonald's, but this tastes nothing at all like what you would eat at McDonald's in the States. Like, it's completely unique.
That was the end of that video.
Just shut it down.
Yeah, that was a strange.
We've had a burger.
end. Okay, well, let's get into part 2.
Oh, you
Hey,
didn't
Barb.
come off in any
Yeah,
sort
it
of
wasn't
way.
you. I was just
like
being- I was worried that we were coming off in a
Yeah,
way
yeah.
that was like not great.
So this is a lovely street we are living off of in Delhi, and this is a Brahma Bowl, I believe. And as you can see, this is a pretty nice little region here. And if you ever want to come and do some relaxing,
you don't
then-
come here.
you don't. Oh, Katie doesn't like it.
It's all right. I mean, it smells like shit. There are tons of flies everywhere. You hardly ever have a moment where you can just stand still where people aren't bugging you. Like right now, it's shocking that no one has come up and talked to us. But I think since I'm talking to a camera, they don't know what to do with that because they've never seen a camcorder before.
I was kind of hoping somebody would walk up to us so I can get them involved. We could videotape the whole process.
That's true. One day we're just gonna turn on the camera with one of these touts. Like I've been thinking up lines to ask them to make them go away, and it started to work, and it's getting pretty exciting. Here comes the Brahma Bowl. Watch yourself.
Runs over.
Well, that's India.
Like, this is the
We gotta go back, dude.
So we've walked out of Old Delhi into what I think is at least in the direction of what
Fucking put in her.
the president's house.
What did you say? Oh, newer. Newer.
Is like, you know, essentially the same thing as the White House is somewhere up in this region. I'm not sure. I kind of think it's probably the thing at the end of that big road. And this round thing over here is the parliamentary house. And then there's these guys with machine guns and stuff. And this says media, OB, van, and escort and pilot vehicles only, which makes me kind of think maybe the president is on the move today, but I'm not 100% sure, of course. This is all speculation. And there's a lot of news vans over there with satellite dishes up. So, I mean, there's some.
It's a prime minister, right? Do they have a president as well? Like some places have a prime minister and a
I
maybe,
don't know.
maybe I don't know. I mean Modi is a prime minister. I might not have like known the right terms at the point that I was speaking.
Something news-ish going on. But this area is a complete 180 from the area we're staying in.
That is like the biggest intersection I've ever seen. This is the president's house. He's got a few elephant bushes outside, which look really cool. The building is kind of drab and it's under construction like most of Delhi is at the moment for the games that are to come here, the Commonwealth Games. This is as close as we can get. I'm standing behind a gate, but I've managed to get the camera in there so it doesn't look so bad. This is where their Obama lives.
So apparently these are houses of the ministry. I guess I don't know if what the hell that means.
The parliamentary, probably.
Political houses.
Pause.
Well, not need to.
Ministry of Education, Ministry
Oh yeah,
of
maybe,
Environment, those types of things is what I think of.
maybe.
And then so you can tell where we're at. That's the president's house again. And then down directly in front of us is the Indian Gate, or the Gate of India or something, and you can see it right there. Maybe hard to see,
Nope.
but along this ledge here, those are monkeys.
Hey, pause. When I say to you a particular ken that has the monkeys getting in the onsen, what do you think of? What ken is it?
Nagano.
What? Everyone knows this?
Yeah, they're in Nagano.
What? Like what? Like maybe outside of Nagano? So today we had like a warming up thing in class, and you have to go, like one person goes over in the corner and the teacher writes a word on the board, and the other people have to come up with hints, and you go person by person. They give you hints. So I knew it was a place because they were talking about, like, they didn't know how to explain it, but the teacher was saying, like, since I've been places, I'll be able to guess it.
Oh, and then you couldn't guess it and
And-
look like a goofus?
No. One of them helped me, but the monkey one didn't. I don't record
We've never been there
things.
and seen that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But like even there are some other things that I've seen in Japan that I haven't seen in Japan, but I know how to properly label them. And for some reason, like, people told me that, and I was just like, where are the monkeys?
It's a bit ghetto around here, but this government area, I really like just how massive the buildings feel, and I hope that comes through on camera. But they're just looming over you. And I think we're here at a good time too, as the clouds are kind of breaking up and stuff. It helps the atmosphere a little bit.
I hate the way it looks now.
Really big, these huge wide streets, and maybe it's just in comparison to what we've been walking around in, but it's just a neat distinction.
I found some pigeons.
Katie found some pigeons.
Yeah, I hate it. I look at that now and I'm like, that's terrible.
The India Gate, and it is a monument to the soldiers from India, 90,000 of them that have died in different various wars, mostly in Europe. And it's really grand and really big. And right here, we just, these ladies over here are doing hentai, I guess.
That's an hentai.
An Indian family came and had one, the mother had one done. She looked mean. She looked...
People have like ripped on me in the comments
Oh,
for
really?
ages about that. Yeah. It's
I
really
see.
funny.
I mean, well, it all depends on what they're drawing.
Yeah, and the looming over you is intentional. Yeah, I know. That's kind of why I hate it, to be honest with you. 'Cause,
Whoa!
it's just like a display of power from the British, and then
This
it's
is
just
the face
not my thing.
of a man who doesn't know henna from hentai.
I don't know what hentai is. What the hell do I know? It just shows how wholesome I am.
Does it?
Old school me is wholesome. I've been
Corrupted
distorted.
over the years?
We were watching them do this. And when they stood up to walk away, she gave us a big smile, and her daughter was talking to Katie, and they ended up taking pictures with us. And this is the picture that we took, and hopefully it came out good.
Do you remember how awkward this was?
Yeah.
And then afterwards, we gave her an email address so that, I don't know, who knows. And then a group formed, and all these guys want to take pictures for us and charge us and this and that. But it was pretty cool, and they were very, very nice people, and we expected them to be kind of mean because of the way they were looking at us, but we're completely wrong. They were very, very friendly.
I made a friend, and I also made another friend. From what I can tell, you're not supposed to have cameras in here, so I look like I'm talking to myself for a second. Anyways, a Muslim woman just touched the condoms in my bag, and that was real awkward. Mine passed the security check, and we are in the Red Fort.
It was built in the 1600s.
Was I planning on fucking on the go? What was I doing? I think sometimes I get hopeful.
It's by a emperor who wanted to move his capital to the Delhi region, and his son had him imprisoned in a
Oh, I forgot to look that up.
fort in another town where the current capital was. So he never got to rule there, but his son did rule here during the height of that empire. And it's just this huge, magnificent fort, and it's a little bit dilapidated and run down now, but you can see that it was absolutely astonishing
Pause.
in its operational days.
If I could somehow make it happen to where I could go, I fucked in the Taj Mahal, done.
It's a fucking mausoleum it's for a dead person, man.
Check it. I would, yes.
You have to put a condom on Dozo.
He's into protection.
This building here in the Red Fort is the Hall of Public Audiences, and the emperor, of which there was only one major emperor that ruled from this area,
Oh, so there was
would
an
sit
emperor
up in
then.
this area and hear like dispute.
Well, earlier I was saying president, so who the
Was
fuck
emperor,
knows?
president, prime minister? I'm well confused now.
This is also where they had the inauguration of the fort when they first opened it. So we just went in this little museum that's in the Red Fort, and
Do you remember who you met at this fort?
There was another girl.
No, it's not. Nope.
I've met a girl there. I remember the girl, but are we going to talk about the guy who poked out from... Where are we? We're at the Red Fort?
Yeah, you're not at Taj Mahal yet.
No, I don't remember who I met here.
Threezy.
Threezy!
Yeah, Threezy.
Wow. Just the other day, I was writing Threezy in a message to someone who I've never said Threezy to, and I was like, are they going to get it? I think I'm just going to write it. It's a 3, a Z, and a Y. Just send it. Are you? Yeah, I was asking, like, are you cool with a 3Z coming and hanging out with us? You just want it to be a 2Z? Or, yeah. All right, 3Z. Let's have some fun.
When you walk in, the guard was like, no pictures. It's like, okay, no pictures, no problem. And a couple minutes later, when I was by myself and nobody else was around, he comes up to me and he goes, pictures? 20 rupees. He was completely trying to get me to give him a bribe so I could take pictures of things I didn't even want pictures of. And then Katie...
I was walking around by myself, and then I noticed that a whole bunch of people were staring at me, and I got caught up like reading this newspaper that was from, what was 1836 or something? 1848, and it was just like a classifieds where like people were selling things. So I was like, and it's all in English, so you can see what people were selling, like houses and trying to get a secretary and stuff like that. And I was absorbed in it. And I didn't realize that a crowd of men had like formed around me. Like I had 5 guys like standing all around me until I backed up into one, and like it's a little intimidating. I didn't realize they were all staring at me until I got out of my own little world with the newspaper. It was a little intimidating. And then I went and found Eric.
And then I stared at her.
So we're walking around, and we've been standing at a few places, and Threezy left. This dog's been following us around for quite some time. Just if we're reading something, he's standing right behind us, just sniffing us and hanging out and playing with other dogs, and then hello. And he's just been following us from one area to another. It looks like now he's sniffing around.
That dog is leaking. He's
Yeah.
walking and things are leaking out of that dog.
He's not a scary dog or anything, but he does have some leakage problems. We call him Threezy. He's not letting us get like even 10 feet away from him.
This is like a garden and courtyard area in the Red Fort, and this is a marble pavilion. And there's a couple of them in here. Like it's completely just solid marble. That's all it is. And then there's these big buildings back here and stuff, and you can see these. This was like.
Are those cones?
And there are like canalways over here, and the canalways run in and out of the buildings so that people could have water in there, you know, wash themselves or whatever. So all of this stuff goes all back and forth across here, and then it goes through all of these big buildings and these things. It's really kind of crazy.
Does it count as an aqueduct if it's not up? Aren't they usually up? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's just like a sewer, right?
And this damn dog is still following us around. It really is part of our pack now.
Threezy really likes the Red Fort.
Ooh, it's really weird. So during the British occupation, this gate was kind of a political sign where Indian people wanted the Indian flag to fly above it. And now as of 1950 or whatever, when the revolution took place, their handover, more than revolution, there is now an Indian flag flying. So it's a big symbol for them. This gate and that flag and everything. It's a big thing of pride for Indian people. So August 15th is the Independence Day for India. And they have a celebration where the Prime Minister comes and he goes up here and gives a speech, and they have all these people come out here, and I guess it's invite only, kind of the way it was described to me. And you can see that they're just setting up things, and looks like they just restored this wall, and they're tearing down their giant bamboo scaffolding now. You can see that's that flag I was talking about earlier.
Why wasn't the flag there? Because they were occupied?
Yeah, I mean, they're under British rule for ages.
So they're tearing down this bamboo scaffolding and just getting things prepared so it looks nice for the celebration.
All right, we got one more video of New Delhi. that we'll be watching this evening. This one's tonight's going to be a little bit short, but some of the other Indian episodes are going to be long. It's just how it balanced out. I say this in like every...
I gotta call the IRS, so that's okay.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Are you calling the IRS tonight?
Tonight.
Oh. Yeah, there's Threezy.
Ooh, they're easy.
This is Humayun's tomb, and it was inspiration for the Taj Mahal with its large entrances and its domes, and we're gonna go check it out.
I like that
And
sound.
we're going inside. Gots to check your ticket.
What's that sound?
I don't know.
That's pretty something.
It's cool.
Indeed it is.
God.
One thing that you'll learn about India is that the chipmunk population is huge. There are chipmunks everywhere.
Wow.
They might be
The
squirrels.
squirrels?
They're
Chipmunks?
Squirrels.
Squirrels.
This is the best video I've ever shot.
Yeah.
You can go even further inside. Oh, that's lovely. People really know how to ruin something that looks amazing by putting their name on it like it matters.
I've done that.
Have you?
Yeah.
Not in something like this.
Empire State Building.
Really?
Yep. Look,
This
I know how to
really
be a
has the
hypocrite.
Feel of like that house that's down the hall, like down the street from yours that nobody's lived in for like 10 years, and then all the kids figure out that they can go there and do bad things. It's amazing that that's happened here.
So this is the tomb of the man himself. We're in the center of that giant building here. And as you can see,
It was satisfying.
it goes quite well. And we haven't been to the Taj Mahal yet, but I can see how this would have been an influence on it just based on pictures I've seen. There's nobody in here. It's really cool.
I remember being just alone.
There's no vandalism on the walls in here either. Oh, there's a little bit. Not a lot, though. Not like those other rooms.
This is the Lotus Temple, and it was built in 1986. Anyone can practice any religion.
Without getting too deep into it, do you remember how we're getting to these places on this day?
Yes.
I assume we'll talk about it in the videos. If not, we'll have a lot to explain. We already need to talk more about the airport.
Oh, we didn't talk about the airport.
We'll do it at the end.
Oh, okay.
One, as long as it doesn't infringe on anyone else. So it's a pretty kind of open temple, and we're gonna go see what it looks like inside. Hopefully it looks as amazing as it does on the outside.
This is the first time I've seen clear water in a while. Their bodies floating in it.
What? The hell was I talking
No
about?
bodies
Okay, so this
floating in
Lotus
it.
Temple is a Baha'i temple, I think is how it's pronounced. And honestly, it sounds a little bit like a
Yo, pause this shit.
social...
You remember Tiger King?
Yeah.
And you remember Doc Antle?
Yeah.
Doc
He
Antle
had something to do with
have
this. Yeah.
not this place, but there's a place that looks like this in Virginia.
That's right.
And I can't believe I've never heard of it.
cult. I mean, if you just look at the size of this thing, and they're definitely not scraping by, but they said they want to build a bunch of like hospitals and orphanages around the area. I mean, regardless, and they're kind of Unitarianism in a way where they like anybody can come in and pray, but you can't actually like have a presentation of any sort. And I'm not sure if they have a day where they have presentations for whatever their specific religion is, but I don't know. And it looks like it sprung out of the 1800s. So it's a relatively new religion, and the guy that formed it was persecuted a lot apparently, and it's this little pamphlet says he was tortured, and who knows? I mean, who knows what exactly happened? But the building is really cool looking.
Oh, interesting.
The inside of the building is really amazing, and we can't shoot any footage. You're not allowed to use your camera inside, but it's stunning indoors, and all of these pools. Apparently, somehow the cooling system inside utilizes these swimming pools that aren't for swimming. And the architecture is amazing. It's just a little bit of a shame that they're using such a beautiful building for such a boring thing such as religion, huh?
Dang.
Okay, so yesterday when we were walking around Connaught Place, there's touts everywhere in Connaught Place, and they speak really, really good English, and all of them have a friend in Colorado and so forth, and they all want to take you to a tour guide and get you to sign up for expensive tours all around India. So we were approached by a couple of these guys, and
Yeah, I remember I went to like an agency trying to find transportation that would take us to multiple places and haggling with people. I remembered being tough stuff.
we had a really crappy map, and they were like, oh, if you come to this tourist office, we'll give you a better map. And we were like, all right, whatever, screw it. Let's go get a good map. So we go in there and we start talking to the guy.
We knew better, by the way. We weren't like, we knew that.
I kind of just wanted to see what it was like.
Exactly. Yeah. We were curious. Like, what's this experience going to be like about getting grifted? What's getting grifted feel like?
And the guy is your normal, slick, clever, funny guy, and he's trying to give us all these quotes and all this stuff. And the first thing he says is he can do a all-day tour, basically, which is just an air-conditioned car with a driver. You rent a car with a driver all day in Delhi, and he said it was $14, and that's like astronomically cheap. So we were like, we'll risk it, screw it, let's see how it goes. And then he gave us the map, and then he was like, oh, and I also do tours. We can do this 15-day tour through northern India, and then he gave us a quote of like $1,200 or something, which is just laughably outrageous. So we were like, okay, whatever. And he's like, well, you want to sign up for this 15-day tour? And we were like, well, we'll see how tomorrow goes. And so the guy comes and he picks us up this morning, and he's really good for the first half of the day, essentially. And we get to go to a lot of places. And
I forgot to plug in the external battery that's required for this tablet.
Technical difficulties. I guess I don't remember much more about that guy's situation. I do remember meeting him on the street. I do remember having some chitter chatter. I remember a business card. I remember going in there and like really trying to use my skills, which I don't really have any, but still did my best.
I remember the driver the next day was actually a nice guy. Like he was a soft, nice person, and he seemed like he didn't like what he had to do. Like, but anyway, let's keep watching.
Easily got our $14 out of him. And then he goes to a gem store because he wants us to, because he gets a commission, like drops you off at a gem store, and then they try to sell you fake mules, and then they kick him, $1 or something. So we just walked through the gem store really quick, just because we'd never been in one, so heck, let's take a look at what's going on. So we look at this gem store, and then we get back in the car, and we wait for him to get his money so he can get in the car, and then we go on our way. Takes us to the next place, and on the way there, he starts to set up that his shoulder hurts or something. I don't know what's going on. It's all part of his scam. And so we go to the next place, and we go to this beautiful, religious place. I don't know how else to explain it. You'll see in the video. And then we get back in the car, and he wants us to take us to go to his boss's office, and that's not happening. We don't want to go on this other tour anyways. And we're like, no, take us to the next location. And he starts talking about how he's going to switch drivers because his shoulder hurts, and he needs to go to a pharmacy, and it just starts getting jumbled. So I'm just like, look, just take us back. It's like 2:30 at this point. We only had one or two things more we wanted to see anyways. So I kind of get in that argument with the guy, and he finally relents and takes us back and drops us off. But definitely was a scam from the beginning, but I think we kind of scammed them. The thing that's sad about it is that if he had actually been honest, I probably would have given him a $10 tip. Like, at the end of the day. And I go, think about it. We paid $14 for the whole day and then an additional $10. That's a lot of money. So, I mean, they didn't get anything extra out of us. We definitely aren't going on their expensive tour because they were dishonest with us today. And he didn't get his tip. Bizarre. They're not even good swindlers. But hey, whatever. It is India.
So that's not how I remember this. I remember us getting out of the cab in the middle of it and just walking away from him. I remember, like, I mean, we didn't have to owe him. We didn't owe him any money or anything because we'd paid up front. But I remember getting into it with him a little bit. Like, no, he's like, I got to go this way and take you and switch drivers. I remember all that stuff. But I remember just being like, all right, whatever. And he was like sitting in traffic, and he got out and walked away. And I remember taking a picture of the license plate just in case something got sketchy.
Yeah, I think that I remember kind of having a conversation about the car possibly being outside of the hotel because they knew where we were staying.
There was something, I feel like that, I don't know why I remember it differently than how I explained it. I don't know why I would have not been more forthcoming with that story. So maybe I misremember it or something, but. I think that was it. End? Yeah, that was it. So that was all of Delhi. So we actually I have quite a lot to say.
I'll put that on a pause. Gotta pee.
Okay. We'll fill in some things here in a minute because I feel like there's pieces of this that aren't exactly. There's things missing for sure about the airport. We wouldn't have talked like that, so our family and friends wouldn't have worried. We were already back in America by the time I was making those videos. So. Yeah, I mean, we didn't. That's not. We wouldn't have done that at all. Like we just whatever happened, we said it. Unless I can't think of a reason that we would have been light about the way that it was being explained. If that makes sense, you know what I mean. But anyway, yeah, it's intimate times. Me and my cock. But yeah, there's more. There's definitely more to the Delhi story. Should we just? Yeah, I think we'll just talk about it now, and then. Okay, so the first thing about the trip that we didn't really explain, in my opinion, very well in video was the arrival process of getting to the airport. Like a lot of this just didn't get talked about.
Getting to the airport or once we were at
once we get the airport. So once we got to the airport, you could see one shot of the inside of the airport where everything had been recently renovated and it was nice. But as soon as you left the terminal area and you were put into the area where like you would get picked up, where you get connected with it was at that time. This was the airport in New Delhi. It's like the international airport. It was chaos. Things were not. There were no ATMs. There were no public telephones. There was no like information desk, nothing like that. Nothing. There was just a lot of people. And the first thing that we encountered, or that I recall encountering, was this white lady weeping. And she was like, I gotta get out of India. Oh God. And she was like, she was having,
on the phone?
Yeah, I don't remember. She was in full on like tier 10 panic mode. Like, she was having a meltdown.
And keep in mind, we still feel like they are crusaders. Yeah. We'll never be like that.
We were like, what's this? We were like, this lady.
Spoiler alert, I do cry on the way out.
Yeah. Yeah, fast forward 3 weeks, and we were like, oh, I understand why that lady was crying now.
I'm fucking done.
So the issue that we had is every time we would go to a new country, and this worked in every country we'd gone to. It worked in Laos. It worked in Cambodia. We would just go to the country with our credit card and hit an ATM and be like, get money out. But Katie had booked the hotel incorrectly, so they had the date wrong because of Katie's mistake. So nobody came to pick us up. So we're in this airport that's a long way away from the city. And there's no ATMs in the airport. No ATMs, no phones. So all I have, and I mentioned this in there, is I think everything I had was that $12 in US cash. Like I had $12 in my pocket. That was it. And like, of course, I mean, who would think that the airport doesn't have an ATM? And we didn't think we would even have to think about it.
So many places and heard that from the ATM that we just stopped worrying about it. We didn't think.
Yeah. So we just were, and we didn't even think we'd have to deal with it because we thought we were going to get picked up. And then once you're in the city, you'll find an ATM somewhere, probably. So, you know what I mean? Like, it just created the mistake of that date created this, like, it just started to explode out. So, like, I've got USD dollars and no telephone. There's no phones. And so, like, I just started going up to random people and asking if they could exchange the dollars out of their pocket. And a dude just was like, sure, yeah, like, no problem. And he was, if I recall, he was chic. That's how you say it, right? I'm saying it right?
Turban on.
Yeah. And he was like, he wouldn't let me, like, I was going to be like, just give me like $10 worth of whatever's and whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. But he like counted it out to the penny, basically. He would not take extra money. He was like, here, just, you know, like, made sure that I had everything. It's like, when you go to certain countries, some people are just going to be willing to kind of take advantage of you a little bit. But this was the opposite, the absolute opposite. So, he gave us some money, so that was good. So I had some rupees, so I had some local currency, and then we could take the local currency. And because there were no payphones in the international airport, there were people that were just like wandering around in the lobby and stuff with their cell phones. And they would, you could pay them an extraordinarily high amount of money for them, but very little money for like us. Like, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like, they were clearly ripping us off. Like, they were charging us like 100 times what it cost to make a phone call. But what else are you gonna do? But it was still like $1 or whatever. It's not a big deal. So we paid somebody, and you called the hotel, and the hotel
was like, what? We're not going to be there.
We're not going to be here. Well, you know what they ended up doing? They told us to take a taxi, and they'd pay for it. And that's what happened. So we got in a taxi somehow. I don't remember how we got into a taxi. This entire process took like hours. It took a really long time. And keep in mind, we're coming out of another time zone, and then we're jet lagged, and then we've been flying all day. It's been a long time. And we got in a taxi, and it was one of those like black, like India, like think of a taxi in India, like from the 1950s. It's one of those things. I remember I could see the ground through the floorboard. There were like holes in it. And
it was just like a tuk-tuk kind of thing.
No, it was a cab. It was a black cab. I vividly remember this. Oh. It wasn't like a tuk-tuk. It had 4 wheels. It was like one of those black Indian taxi cab things.
Well, that's interesting, because even when I watched the footage, it confirmed in my mind that it was a tuk-tuk type thing.
Yeah, I remember holding the camera and stuff up out of the window and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think it rained like through part of the drive. And it was pitch black outside, and the driving is like the first time you get in a car in a country where the driving is nuts. It's wild, especially if you're with a local who drives full on. And I just remember being like, holy shit.
I don't think he had a headlight. And yeah. I remember there being times where I was like, we are going so fast that an impact of an unknown something, which could totally happen right now, would be very detrimental.
S-I-K-H. I never remember how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. Do you remember how to say that? Mm-mm. I've heard it so many times. It's one of those words that I've tripped myself out on. But yeah, that's the right word. I'm sorry about the way I've said that. Anyway, so the other thing I remember is he was flying down Seek.
Instead of chic.
Yeah. Seek. Yeah, I think you're right. I remember flying down a highway in this black taxi. You're right. He didn't have headlights.
It was dark. I remember watching a goat cross the street.
Yeah, we were on the highway, and people were pushing a goat across the street, and the motorcycles are getting pushed on the street. He's just like zooming around on the side and stuff. It was madness. It was completely insane. And like, I mean, we'd been in like crazy traffic in Thailand and Cambodia and like just like other parts of Asia, right? But this was like on another level. This was completely insane. And then we got to the hotel, and we couldn't see anything when we got in there, so we didn't know what the outside of the building looked like. But we got to the hotel. I remember that was all fine. And then we got some food and we ate and everything was totally cool. We slept until like the middle of the day the next day or whatever it was. And then things progressed and everything else was kind of as I remember it as it was in the video. And then the only other thing...
You know what, dude? These are the only memories we're going to have of that. There's so much more to it. There's so much more. And now I think, like, oh...
There's some pictures, too.
Poof.
Yeah. And then we ended up doing the thing with the tout guy. And one of the first places they took us, it was like a mosque or something that we didn't even talk about in the video. But when we were walking up to the mosque, there was just like...
Oh, yeah.
I think it was a mosque. I think so.
I don't remember what the structure was.
There were just like, I remember you being like, I think those people are dead.
Yep.
Like laying on the ground because there were these people and like, it was like, just like people don't have food, don't have access to anything. They were laying on the ground and this guy had just flies crawling out of his mouth. Like a lot. And we thought he was dead. And it's just like, I mean, there were people everywhere and we're just like, okay. And then when we walked back, he had moved. So it was like, okay, that guy's not dead. Like it was really shocking. It was really shocking. And then I don't remember if I have anything else specifically. We already kind of covered like how we got the tour where they kind of ripped us off a bit, except the only thing that I feel like I'm really sure about walking out of that cab, and I cannot believe I didn't mention it. So maybe my memory is
have him bring us back to the area. And
yeah, maybe
then we just got tired of being in the car,
perhaps.
But I don't remember it very clearly, and I think we could have definitely been annoyed. I guess I would be surprised that you didn't mention it in the video, but I like thinking about us going, all right, so we're getting out of this bitch, and then we get out of this bitch.
Yeah. Maybe it just wasn't, maybe I'm just remembering it more dramatically than it actually took place. But anyway, let's look at every fucking week it's like this. It's such a bad interface. Come on. There we go. And I'll flip this back over and it'll break, but I know how to do it now. Okay, cool. Let's look at some pictures. And... So just like I said, we don't usually go through the pictures or the video. I go through the videos before I export the pictures. So sometimes the pictures are redundant to what we saw in the videos, but I don't want to spoil the videos for me. So I just export whatever I think looks interesting. That's actually a pretty good picture. That huge.
Yeah.
This would have been still in Kuala Lumpur, right?
I feel like it's gonna talk.
Okay, yeah. So this picture, this is where we were staying. We were staying back down here on the left, and like this is what it kind of feels like to be in India.
Just that stare.
But only sometimes it's like a crowd of
stare.
guys.
And then the tons of fruit available.
Where are the women?
I don't know. It's a very man culture on the outside.
Yeah.
Did I write that?
No.
It looks a little like my handwriting.
It looks like your handwriting. You wouldn't have done that, though. It's kind of a cool picture of the president's house. You're not clever enough to write that.
What?
You're not that funny. Yeah, the cab looked like kind of like one of these things, but black. That's you with the... I remember them following us and taking another picture. Like, and that's why I think it was awkward. Like, it kept happening or something. It's actually pretty clever. Yeah, okay, this is where we thought we saw the dead guy.
Yeah.
And I've labeled it, it's a mosque. Yeah, like as we walk down to this thing. I wonder who's taking the picture.
The tour guide?
Yeah, maybe. I like that font. I never noticed that the word ladies has the word dies in it.
I never noticed it either. Zoom. Because he looks stunned.
What do we got? Chipmunk or squirrel?
Chipmunk.
Is this because of the stripes?
Yeah.
But he's got the posture of a squirrel. Aren't chipmunks a little chonkier?
How... So you know the postural differences between chipmunks and squirrels? It's definitely not the posture that a chipmunk would take, so I'm gonna declare squirrel. Okay.
What are you doing in North India? Go to south. Well, we're in Japan right now, so I can't help you out.
Go to south.
But if you're from India, is that a chipmunk or a squirrel? What are we looking at here?
Please help.
Yeah, send help, please.
Indian chipmunk.
That's Threezy over there on the left.
Threezy and Fran.
Yeah.
Threezy looks cool as shit.
Squirrel dumbass. All right. Peace out forever. Do I do the thing? Gotta click a different button. See what you're doing to me?
Fran. It looks like Threezy's looking at me going, yeah, he's a bit weird. You should leave. Are they partying? God. Zoom in. It looks like a wild, fun friendship. Look at the fun. Which one are you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm probably the one jumping over there, and this is you being annoyed with me coming at you.
What are you doing? That's cool.
Yeah, the birds are neat.
Dude.
What?
The beginning of that Killer Tomatoes movie starts, it's like just text on the screen, and it's like, recently there was a movie about birds, and everyone laughed. I don't know, it just reminded me of it. The way they wrote it was funnier, but yeah.
Look at my hair. Why is it all like, it's like all the sun? Like it's kind of like got blonde streaks in it or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Well, we've been outside basically for a year at that point. You were just taking a lot of pictures of Threezy.
Mm-hmm. He's our best friend. Ooh, you make
Now,
me live.
There is a friendship.
What are we looking at?
You might be a squirrel off camera. Look at this. Look how big it is. Like really, like look at how big a human being there is.
Mm-hmm.
And the zooming has just decided it doesn't want to work anymore. There we go. Yeah. Look. I mean, just look. Think about when you climb the ladder on the outside of the house. Look at how much higher up they are. Mm-hmm. Like that's like you fall and you die. Levels of fall.
No safety equipment.
No.
Oh, that guy's got a rope. One guy has a rope.
This guy down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it might be just tied to a bucket.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're wearing harnesses. No, that guy's not wearing a harness. These people aren't. I mean, that's like you would.
But they've also.
They put this net. Does the net help?
Wow, the net. I never even noticed the net.
But these guys are not above the net.
But those guys have positioned themselves in a way where their back is against the wall.
That's
and
true.
They are dismantling the thing. So in a way, you can't really attach yourself to something that you're dismantling.
It's
So
true.
this is really safe from what I can tell.
The net is. Look at that guy chill, man.
The net is for resting.
I'm surprised 3G isn't just Bojangles down there hanging out.
Probably was at some point.
Are these people back here making a vlog? She looks like she might be talking. Is that photo face or talking face?
She could be talking to the photographer.
It's true.
I like that I just thought she has good shapes. Looks like a mushroom.
Why am I stinking?
No idea. It's a pretty good stink face. We should save that. We'll put it on things. Like a coaster.
Inside the tomb. It's a cool picture. I think we did more things that look similar to this when we were at the Taj Mahal. But it's neat. Look at this lady's colors. It's vibrant. It's awesome.
Kind of look like you're doing the bird.
We hadn't even met the bird yet. This is pre-bird.
Yeah, what a stupid building for religion.
And then this cow. And this is, I think, one of the last pictures we took when we were in Delhi. But yeah, it was...
Wow.
I remember going into some of these shops and buying stuff. Like we'd go in here and buy water and
getting
stuff.
a lock.
Getting a lock. Oh yeah, we
I
got a little
remember
lock.
going and
I
buying a
remember that.
lock. I think we still have it. I think it's on Gerber.
Yeah. So that is that is what we remember and what we have evidence of having transpired during our time in Delhi. And we will be picking up next week in Agra. And I don't remember. Here, I'll look. I can do the maths. I already went through and so next week is only Agra. And it will be another one that's kind of short. But if I had put this one and that one together, it would have been really long. So it's just this weird way. But we'll be watching the stuff from Agra. And that will be the first time that we get sick in India. I got sick and... I don't know how much we go into it there, but it starts the fun.
I had to walk around and get all the stuffs.
Yeah.
I remember doing
all the sick stuffs.
the walk for all the stuffs. I did it in Korea. The walk for all the stuffs.
Nobody knows that happened yet.
Spoiler. There's no crying.
Anyway, let me see here if there is... Who is streaming
Let's find
right
out what
now.
the wait time for the IRS is.
The wait time for the IRS. Is that what you're working on now?
Yeah.
know.
I'm calling to confirm some shit before I have to talk to the H&R Block guy tomorrow. Because the H&R Block guy, one of them doesn't know their shit. And I don't like that.
On that note, I think we're going to take off. We will be back next week. And I think this Sunday we'll be streaming. And I think Katie will be streaming with us. So you're now tied in. Your Sunday just got spent. Yeah, like you have that just locked in.
If you are calling with questions regarding economic impact payments.
All right, guys. See y'all later. Thanks for hanging out.